My A1C was able to be brought down from a 9.7 to a 6.5, and in that 3 months, my liver had also cleared up, so I was no longer fatty liver
Lieutenant
disease.
Garris, thanks so much for taking your time out of your busy day and just talking about your experience with diabetes. I think it's going to help a lot of people. So let's start with from the beginning. When were you diagnosed with diabetes?
I was diagnosed this past September 2023, diabetic and fatty liver disease.
Okay. Yep.
So,
Yep.
of course,
Very common.
most doctors would, go straight to medication, but I was not fond. I am not fond of medication. So, I reached out to other people in the medical field, such as yourself, for advice and guidance. So,
yeah. And then it's nice that we work as colleagues together.
oh yes, that made a big difference.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, Lieutenant Garris is a lieutenant at a state correctional facility. And I am the physician assistant there. So, we have a lot of interaction with each other. I talk about my diabetes reversal program that I do privately. Yes. And we got a chance to sit down and see how we can help, guide you in the process of reversing your diabetes. Like a lot of people who don't want medicine, they want to know, is there alternative, right? Meds. And it's interesting you said you had fatty liver disease diagnosis, because a lot of people don't, know how common it is to have fatty liver. I think it's about 1 in 3 Americans, if not 1 in 4, and their doctors don't even tell them. They just kind of look past it. So, before talking to me though, did you try anything besides? I know you were hesitant to start medicine. So, did you try anything as far as diet wise to get your,
I started looking at the sugar intakes of what I was taking in. Noticed the biggest thing was sodas. So, I cut those out, and, not really knowing much about what all came from sugars or what caused sugars. It took a little while of time to figure out what I needed to do, but
would you say that not knowing what to do was one of the frustrating things about having diabetes?
Yeah, it was a little frustrating. Like I said, it was not as frustrating as it could have been, in my opinion, because I did have, medical staff at work that I could talk to. You and Evans and, a few others that, have dealt with, or as you are a counselor for it. So it made it a little bit less frustrating. But yeah, it was still frustrating trying to find foods to eat that were not heavy in starches or sugars.
Yeah. And of course, you have a unique situation because of that, where right after you got diagnosed, you had the right people around you, support system, which is huge, right? People need a support system. So when we talked about the whole food plant-based diet, vegan diet, was that something new to you? Is this something you've ever heard before?
No, I've heard people talk about vegan diets and stuff. I never really was a big person in just eating one style of food like that. And I really don't still not just a straight vegan. I just make sure I don't eat any fatty foods. Pretty much all your red meats are out. I still eat some fish and chicken, but not as much as I used to. So, I do eat a whole lot more vegetables and fruits now.
Yeah.
But I would say I was a vegan, more of a vegetarian style, I guess.
And I'm sure there was probably a time where you probably looking back at how you used to eat and versus how you're eating now, there was a time you said, I would never, eat this way, right?
I mean, I've always eaten fruits and vegetables, but I've never would have really thought it would just be the main style of meals I'd eat. But it's not bad. It's got some good stuff out there. It's just finding the stuff that you like. There are some things out there that just really didn't suit my taste. So it's a trial and error, finding things in the vegetarian or vegan diet lines that really suit you.
Yeah, and I think that's what it's about: is finding yourself, stepping out of your comfort zone to do something different, something new, something you say you would never do. You'd be surprised, and you probably were surprised how complete your meals can be when
Mm-hmm.
we're eating predominantly plant-based. And I like the term plant-based because you're focusing on, foods
Yeah.
as grown versus foods as born, right?
Mhm.
Animal based.
Yeah.
So what were you able to accomplish in the time, after our consultation and making the changes? What were you able to accomplish as far as, diet, weight loss, or your A1C?
Um,
You know,
okay. My A1C was able to be brought down from a 9.7 to a 6.5. So I went from being full blown diabetic to a pre-diabetic stage. And in that 3 months, my liver had also cleared up. So I was no longer fatty liver disease.
let's
So
go.
that was a big positive. To me, that was my scariest thing because my father-in-law, he died from cirrhosis of the liver, which came from fatty liver disease.
Mhm.
So that kind of, what really kickstarted me, I guess, was worrying about my fatty liver, which, bled into taking care of my diabetes.
Mm.
So yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. And that's what I like about this, plant-based approach, because you're not just healing one condition, you're healing multiple, And what would you say, I guess, if you were to see, your future, what do you think, where do you think you would be if you didn't make any changes at all? You just kept on, same lifestyle and
Um,
diet.
I'd be on medication. I'd be taking shots or pills. You know, I just don't like those because all the side effects of medication. I see people get on certain medications, especially at work, but it makes it work with diabetes. They get on one to treat diabetes, and they on three more to treat side effects for the one for the diabetes, and it's just you wind up with an entourage of medication following you around all the time. So I
Facts.
did not want that.
Yeah, big facts, man. So finally, what would you tell people who are like yourself? They just got diagnosed, or maybe they've been diabetic for a while, and they're on the fence about seeking counseling through a diabetic health coach, or a program like Diabetes 180. How would you encourage them?
Well, I would strongly encourage them to talk to folks, such as you who do free consultations. It doesn't hurt to talk. I mean, like I said, it's a trial and error. You might talk to somebody that sets you on a way that makes you feel better.
Yeah, yeah,
And it don't hurt to try new things, new foods, new food groups, things that you looked at and said, that just doesn't look good to me. And, turns out it's right tasty. So,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't be afraid, right?
that's right. And, if you don't wind up, you don't like it and it's not for you, you can always go back to doing what you were doing and just get on medication. But that was not for me. I just not a medication person. I
Awesome.
see people who take medication all the time and they always having to stop and I gotta go take my medication. I gotta go. If it's for some folks, fine. It just wasn't for me.
Yeah, yeah. I can imagine it's not a way to live. I think even for the people who choose to do it, it's just because they don't know there's a better way. So,
Yeah.
thanks so much, Lieutenant, for taking this time to talk with me and tell your story to the world.
Hey, well, thank you for giving me some guidance and help and getting my journey started.
Yep. And continue on the journey.
I am, and I'm gonna help come back to you when I got some more questions for you too. So
good, man. Well, I guess I'll see you this week.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. I will see you this week.
All right, man. You have a good day.
All right, thank you too, sir.